has given.
A bill in Tennessee would largely ban so-called pride flags in public school classrooms.
Gino Bolso is a representative in the Tennessee General Assembly and an attorney. He represents Williamson County, just south of Nashville. He said the parents is how this started.
And I had parents and one school board member that came to me in my capacity as a state representative complaining that there were pride flags that teachers and counselors were displaying on their desks and on the walls in certain public schools.
Bolso said that parents had complained to school administration and to the board, saying it was inappropriate for the flags to be there.
They could not get any help, so I told them that I would help. And so I put together a bill that started out by simply saying that only the U.S. flag and the Tennessee flag could be flown or displayed in our schools and in on our school buildings.
As the bill went through the legislative process and committee process, they expanded to allow up to 12 different categories of flags that would be allowed to be displayed on school grounds.
Refers to things like the U.S. flag, the Tennessee flag, the MIA or POW flag, flag of another country, flag of a college or university, flags of the armed forces or ROTC. But the effort was to make sure that we did not continue to have these types of political flags being displayed in schools where parents objected to them.
The bill has now made it to the Senate. If it passes the Senate, it would then go to the governor's desk for signature. I'm Bronson Woodruff.
More news online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty P.
Oh, wow. That really happened? Is this right? Yes, it is. Okay. Let me be, SD. Oh. Excuse me while I do a little sizing here and being a producer. Yes, indeed. And I think everybody hear me okay? I think my OBS stream is way behind. As a matter of fact, I can hear it on my monitor over there. So bear with me for a few minutes here while I try to get this thing straightened out. Can't seem to find the way to, let's see, my channel page. There it is, reset stream. That's what I was looking for. Reset stream. And let me restart that. Please stand by. Please stand by. That's it. That's what we're doing. Okay. I think I'm ready. Well, I guess I need more than 25 minutes to get prepared for this broadcast, because that's pretty much what it takes at least to get prepared. But here I am now and ready, and don't everybody crowd into the chat rooms all at once. You're listening to me, Nicholas Arthur, Nick at Night. That is the last broadcast of the day on First Amendment Radio. So if you're listening live on this nighttime, because I never rebroadcast these at night, so if they come on at night, they are live. Come on over to the chat room. It's up. It's open. Good to see Blackbird in the chat room and Darkija in the chat room. Thank you for showing up. And they're in the First Amendment Radio chat room. And, well, what do we have tonight? Let's jump right in, get warmed up here with Babylon Bee. Seems like a good place to start. See, the pros and cons of every diet plan. I think we can all identify with diet plans. I know what my diet is. I try to eat right, and when I see food, I eat it. No, that's called a seafood diet. So, yeah, I eat whatever I want, which is not continually. As a matter of fact, I have to take time to eat. Otherwise, I would forget it. Yeah, or I get real hungry. There you go. So you want to get healthier, drop a few pounds, get yourself in better shape. Great. Now all you have to do is choose a diet plan. How do you know which one is right for you? You think we should listen to the Babylon Bee? Well, it's supposed to be funny. Let's hope it is. Okay? Though usually dieting isn't much of a funny thing. Let's see. The Babylon Bee is here to help with a helpful list of pros and cons for some of the most popular diet plans. Keto, pro, weight loss, muscle gain, reduced blood sugar. Con, if you take one tiny bite of white bread, you will die. Carnivore, pro, reduced inflammation, increased muscle, weight loss, feeling great. Con, you are now the most annoying person in all the world. The Baptist diet. Now there's one I haven't heard of. Pro, health plan benefits from no alcohol consumption. Well, I guess I'm pretty much on a Baptist diet, but I would tell you if someone offered me a beer at their house with a meal, I might not turn it down, and I might. But yeah, I stopped there because I don't like to feel intoxicated at all. I like being sober. That's the truth. So the Baptist diet, health benefits from no alcohol consumption. Con, you're 300 pounds and have diabetes. Well, I guess I'm not on the Baptist diet because I'm not 300 pounds, don't have diabetes. Vegan, pro, lower cholesterol, reduced risk of cancer and cardiovascular disease. Con, you're a vegan. Yeah. And I'm not sure about the pros either. To being a vegan. What's a vegan? I don't know. Forget it. So what that is. Is it no meat, or you can eat dairy, I think. I think that's what vegan is. I'm not sure. Paleo diet. See, pro, less inflammation, more energy. Con, your grocery bill is $12,000 per month. Wow. I couldn't afford that diet plan. $12,000 a month. What do they eat? A Twinkie diet. Pro. You get to eat Twinkies. Yes. Con. None. That's the Twinkie diet. Atkins diet. Pro. You have already lived long enough to know that the Atkins diet is, or what the Atkins diet is. I'm not sure. I've heard of it all my life, or practically half of my life at least, but I never knew what it was. Con. The Atkins diet will finish you off. Yeah. Let's see. Crickets and mealworms diet. You will eat the bugs. That's what the WF has it planned for you. Bill Gates, yeah, shutting down all farming, so you have to eat crickets and bugs. So crickets and mealworms diet. Pro, you become a docile, compliant vassal of the New World Order. Con, the grasshopper leg stuck in your teeth is still wiggling. Yes, fresh and wiggling. There we go. A line from The Hobbit. See, vegetarian diet. Pro, you can significantly extend your life. No vegetarians over 100. Sorry. You might live past whatever the norm is, but you're not going to significantly extend your life. Con, your significantly extended life is no longer worth living. I agree. Socialist diet. Pro, rapid and sustained weight loss. Con, death due to rapid and sustained weight loss. Yes, indeed. Yeah, well, that was pretty good, Babylon B. I like that one. Let's see, Judy. Hello, Judy from Falkland, BC, checking in. Yes, otherwise known as Blackbird. There we go. And nobody else yet. But people will show up or not. I'm going to say the same things. Unless you say something in the chat room, and I might respond to it. Questions, comments, suggestions, texts here if you want to get my attention immediately, like if my voice is not coming through or something like that, if I forget to unmute my mic. Yes, thank you for that, Shauna. She got me yesterday before I went on for another 10 minutes, just moving my mouth for all the lip readers out there. Yes, indeed. Okay, in major blow to democracy, Supreme Court rules voters can vote for favorite candidate. Well, the Democrats are sincerely disappointed. What a blow to democratocracy. It's not democracy. It's democracy. Or something like that. We have to coin a new word. Okay, the Socialist Communist Party. How about that one? Yeah. The Marxist Party. Next. Show the world you support the bee. On sale now. You can get your Babylon Bee pin. I got a Babylon Bee cup. I don't know where it came from. Somebody gave it to me. They found it at a secondhand store. Let's see. Okay. That's, I'm not sure. This is your guide to trusty map through the dense forest of generosity. Learn to build your campsite with solid goals. Give more easily to church and other charities you love. Download the ultimate survival guide to charity giving. Oh, I guess this is probably a promotion. Oh, yes. A message from Donors Trust. So that's promotional. Okay. Cast of View unanimously overturns SCOTUS decision. The one where they said that the people get to vote for who they want. Yes, indeed. Anything that's nuts and crazy, The View, yes, is definitely for it. Okay, they hate liberty, they hate freedom, they hate everything good. So, next, here we go. Scientists suggest prehistoric women were better at hunting than men because they talk so much the animals would just die. Yes, and here's photographic evidence, right? Okay, moving on. Texas National Guard deploys giant sandworm on southern border. I guess the Dune movie. I watched the first Dune movie many years ago. The sandworms were a thing, yeah. So, and I guess they got a new Dune 2 or something out. So I might watch it in 5 or 10 years when it comes on free TV, Freevee or something like that. Yeah, then I might watch it, and I might not. Doesn't matter. I saw the first one. That was probably enough. Yes. Okay, here we go. Study finds 99% of men pretend to use the force when opening, closing automatic doors. Ah, yes, playtime. Guess might as well pretend. It's like magic, is it not? And the force. It's a force that is invisible. It forces doors open. There you go. Man struggling to read Bible as it's way over there on the shelf. Yes, indeed a problem for a lot of people reading that Bible. Well, you know what I would do in that case? I would just pray. Dear Heavenly Father, give me a hunger for your word, an insatiable desire to learn more about you. Yes. Next. Oh, that's it. That's all the funny stuff we get from the Babylon Bee today. Still silence from the chat rooms and the audience. And I'm not watching all the chat rooms, so I'm only watching FirstAmendmentRadio.net /chat room and the YouTube and Rumble chat rooms for First Amendment Radio channels. And that's it. And then, of course, we have the text here. Anyone can text me at any time and say hi. And I'll just keep moving on here and see what else we have. Yes. Not the bee. They had something about the BRICS. BRICS expansion versus U.S. and its currency. So people have asked me about that. So they got an article here. Have you heard about the expanding influence of BRICS and its potential to overtake the U.S. and the dollar? Led by powerful nations like Russia and China, BRICS envisions a new global order. And the implications are not just on a geopolitical scale, but could directly impact you. Originally composed of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, BRICS has doubled in size with new members: Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like 6 of the United States. So we should be not really worried about it yet. Okay. Yes, it's doubled in size, but not really. Because Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, they may have numerically doubled, but believe me, India and China is like, aren't they about almost half of the population of the entire planet? Brazil and South Africa, not so much. I mean, China and India alone, China's about 1.5 billion. India's how many billion? So they're like 3. They're at least a third, maybe a little more than a third of the population of the whole planet. But it's China. Yeah, it's China. And I know that the Antichrist controls China. The Jesuits have been there for a long time. And the Jesuits also control Washington, D.C. And the Jesuits also control, the Antichrist power, also controls the money powers of the world that they're going against. You see, people think something else is going on here when actually it's a pretend division. Yeah. The beast wants everyone to be happy. And if they're happy thinking that they're coming up with an alternate system, all they're really doing is lending a hand to the Antichrist's takedown of the monetary system of the whole world. Because I'll tell you what, if the Federal Reserve crashes and the Western nations crash, economically? Well, China, India, Russia, and everyone else crashes too. And that's really what the Antichrist wants. It's his heart's desire to rule the entire monetary system of the entire world under his auspices so that everybody has to answer to him, regardless of where they are, what their race is, what their creed is. He wants everyone to be under his power. And so he's working very hard for that. I don't think he's ever going to really achieve it, but he thinks he is, because right now he does control. You know, he might have been kicked out of a few countries like Russia. I don't know about the monetary system of Russia. I know the Antichrist is not happy with Russia, but because, one, they kicked out the Vatican's favorite form of government, which is communism, Marxism. Yeah. Good to see you here, Sifted Sands. So that's the Antichrist's favorite form of government. It's what they have in China. He wants that in America. That's why they're going full bore at taking down America. I only pray that it stops here and it goes no further. And I think I have some scriptural prophetic understanding that leads me to believe that it may be. Yes, that's right. It says, but God hath promised the overthrow and destruction of Antichrist and his Babylon harlot. It's coming. That's part of the prophecy that has yet to be fulfilled, and it is coming. How soon? Sometime in the next 30 years, I'm going to say. Yeah, since it's 2025 almost. So yeah, pretty much it's all going to be wrapped up about the end of this millennia, the 6th millennia that we're in. We've got about 30 years before the 7th millennium begins, by my best calculations. Anyway, let's continue with the article here. Originally composed of Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, BRICS has doubled in size with new members: Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, which means it hasn't really doubled in size because it's still about two-thirds of the population of the entire Earth. I mean, just with India and China, it's that. And I don't know, Russia is probably in size, population about the same as Canada, which is like, how many people? 300,000 in Canada or something? I don't know how many in Russia. I'm not going to look up all these numbers. You can check it out for yourself. But someone wrote an article like this. I wish they would have done the population count, because it's the only thing that really matters on the earth are the people. Yeah. The people are everything. Okay. So when it comes to numbers, yeah. Comprising, okay. Threat isn't merely strategic, it's personal. After the health crisis instigated by China's alleged biowarfare tactics, here we go, more culpable deniability for the Antichrist and his and what he's doing in the world and what he wants to get done. How many people they thought they were going to kill off. Yeah, with the 2020 panic. BRICS is now targeting our wealth. Russia claims noble goals like sovereign equality and a fair global financial system, but their actions, such as invading Ukraine and proposing a unified currency to challenge the U.S. dollar and influencing oil producers like the Arab Emirates to shift away from the dollar, reveal a different agenda. Well, big surprise. Yes, every nation wants to do that. Every nation wants to be more prominent in power-wise in the world. So, like, are they really any different than the government at Washington, D.C. and all the dreamers over there, not even knowing that they're working for the Antichrist every day? Mm-hmm. Imagine a world where half a global transaction occur in the BRICS currency. The consequences could be dire for the U.S., a weakened dollar, soaring costs of import. It's already happening. The consequences are already dire. A weakening dollar, soaring costs of imports, stock market crashes, and a fragile economy. Everyday items we import could become unaffordable, severely impacting your purchasing power. Meanwhile, we got one of the Antichrist agents, Catholic Joe Biden, worshiping the beast and succumbing to Chinese money. Good to see you, Mick. Well, we'll continue this and finish this article when I get back from this break. I did hear my tone. We'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Secrets of the Rapture. Is there a 500-year-old conspiracy? A propaganda machine so pervasive and entrenched, yet so elusive that the entire world could be taken in by it, working in plain sight, but unseen by the world for what it truly is? If prophecy is God-given history in advance, why does the prophecy that has conquered the age also exclude nearly 2,000 years of history? What is it that they are afraid that the light of history will reveal? To understand our place in time and prophecy, we must look in history for an interpretation, that which stands the test of time, that which agrees with the Word of God, and history has proven to be true. When cunning fables and fearful speculations are removed from our sight, then we may clearly see what is truly expressed in Bible prophecy, both that which has been fulfilled and that which has yet to come. God's express word is the sword that must be wielded to remove the scales from the eyes and dispel the darkness of deceitful conjecture. Secrets of the Rapture was written to expose that which the spirit of the age has conjured out of the darkness to blind the eyes of the church in the world today. Secrets of the Rapture, Deconstructing Pre-Tribulation Dispensational Futurism by yours truly, Nicholas Arthur, is now available at lulu.com and Amazon. Secrets of the Rapture.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
Good to see you. See Luke in the chat room over there. Everybody else. Let's see. Judy says that, yeah, I looked that up sometime a few days ago. Canada is 38 million or over 38 million as 2021. They might be less than that now. Yeah, that was 3 years ago. And you know what happened in the last 3 years? It keeps happening. Birth rates have fallen precipitously. Yes, in America too. Okay, let's see. I have this from the Sovereign Man. He said, why gold might weirdly be a contrarian investment right now? That sounds interesting. It's hard to say with a straight face that an asset hovering near its all-time high could be a contrarian investment. But I'm going to say it anyhow. I think gold may be a contrarian play right now. Now it would be easy to assume that gold is near its all-time high because everyone is buying. And normally that would be true, typically whenever an asset soars to a record high. But it's not really a high. It's been at just over 2,000. It hasn't hit 2,100. I would say if it goes up to 2,500, then it would be an all-time high. It's not really moving very much. So we've seen this countless times, from Bitcoin to meme stocks. Once something becomes the hot thing to own, small investors and occasionally professionally managed funds drive the price higher. But it's ridiculous. The price hasn't really. I mean, Bitcoin is up $65,000 when it used to be pennies, and it was always nothing. I mean, it has no substance. They're just digits, bits on a computer. Yeah. I like the way their logo is a gold coin, a picture of a gold coin, not really a gold coin. Yeah, see, the first Roman Catholic tomb in China is the tomb of Matteo Ricci, S.J., in Beijing. But I thought they were atheists. Well, aren't Catholics really atheists? I mean, true Catholics, like the ones at the Vatican, like the Pope himself. It's hard to believe that he really believes in God. Otherwise, you might read his Bible and find out what it really says, like real like real Christians do. Yeah. And you know what happens when a Catholic reads the Bible? Why they don't want them reading the Bible. They become Protestants. Happens all the time. It's been happening for centuries. Okay, continuing here. But that's not what, okay. We've seen this countless times, drives the price higher, but that's not what's happening with gold. In fact, investors have been abandoning gold for years. Publicly available data from more than 100 gold ETFs. ETFs? What is an ETF? I have no idea what an ETF is. Anybody know what an ETF is? Yes. Luke says, they have a God. Yes. Yes, they do. He's a little man who sits over there in the seat of the Antichrist, sits in that chair saying that he is God, showing himself that he is God, like it says in Thessalonians. Okay, publicly available data, more than 100 gold ETFs. No one knows what an ETF is, right? All of which are conveniently aggregated by the World Gold Council. I think ETFs are paper gold, aren't they? Where you get a piece of paper and they tell you they have your gold somewhere else, but it's safe. But if you need it, you won't be able to get it. I'm sorry, I can't believe it. I mean, if you really need it, if the proverbial, stuff hits the fan and you go, I'm going to go get my paper gold. I'm sorry. Only the people in line first will get it. Those are the ones that are in on it. Yeah. Yes. Okay. The World Gold Council data shows that North American European investors dumped over 700 metric tons of gold since May 2022. Huh. An equivalent of nearly 20% of ETF holdings. I wish, when someone writes an article and they put initials in here, I mean, I like he did World Gold Council, and then he said WGC. But he says ETF, and where in the article does it tell me what an ETF is? Nowhere. ETF. Nope. Don't give me an acronym if you can't tell me what it is somewhere in the article. I wonder how many things ETF stands for. ETF holdings. Guess nobody in the chat rooms knows either what an ETF is. So I guess I should know this kind of stuff. Let me do this. Let me search for ETF and see what an ETF is. Explore the top 10, invest in ETFs. Expert selected. No, don't see anything for ETFs. I see a lot of stuff here, but what ETFs meaning? Definition for dummies. Let me check that out. ETF for dummies. Okay. Since I appear, they're going to sell me a book on eBay. Oh, it's a book called ETFs for Dummies. I don't even know what an ETF is. How about ETF definition? I want to know what an ETF is. Okay. Hedge fund strategy. Tap into your ETF. Boy, you wouldn't think it would be this. Oh, exchange traded fund. There it is. Exchange traded fund? Huh. Now let's see if the article makes more sense. If I put in exchange traded fund. Oops. Let's see, where was that article at? Here it is. Okay. Let's see. Equivalent to nearly 20% of exchange-traded funds holdings. So, publicly available data for more than 100 gold exchange-traded funds. So I guess that's paper gold. I guess maybe I was right about that, because you don't get the gold, you get the paper, and it's an exchange-traded fund that supposedly, yeah. I don't trust it unless I hold it in my hands. What do you guys think? The main difference between an ETF and a mutual fund, that though a mutual fund is also pooled investment, it trades only once a day after the market closes. Okay, well, I thought I was reading an article about gold, but let's move on. In fact, the outflows for the month of January alone, the most recent month of published data, totaled more than 50 metric tons, the second highest outflow in a year. Most notably, however, North America European investors dumped 179.6 metric tons of gold September 2023 through January 2024. That means they took their money out of gold. Is that what it means? Gold that was in an exchange-traded fund? So, which means they would really never have the gold to begin with. This is important, he goes on, because during that period, the price of gold surged from $1,820 per ounce to nearly $2,100. Yeah, nearly. It's like $2,000. Oh, it's not $2,800. I don't think it's near. It's like $2,080, isn't it? Yeah, well, I guess that's nearly $2,100. So, yeah. So it's nearly. But it's already been up over 2,000 several years ago. So it's not really, well, I guess it's an all-time high if it's up to 2080, but that's not really much of a movement. Not when you compare it to stocks and other things, and when you compare it to inflation recently, or when you compare it to Bitcoin. Strange, right? If investors were selling off substantial quantities of gold, it seems like the price should have fallen. Instead, it rose 15%. How is that possible? Well, the reason that gold keeps going higher is because while individual investors are selling, there's another group that's buying. In fact, this group of buyers is completely price insensitive. They don't care how much they pay per ounce. They're not even looking for return on investment. And they have mountains of cash to spend. The group of buyers I'm talking about is central banks and governments. Yes, I knew that was going on. And it's not the usual suspects like China, Russia, though China did buy more than 200 metric tons in 2023. Others like Poland, India, Singapore, Czech Republic, Philippines, and even Iraq. To me, this is an obvious signal that the global financial system is probably going to change sooner rather than later. And longtime readers know that we have been writing about this for years. Reserve currencies throughout history have always come and gone. And this goes back to the last article we were reading about the de-dollarization. So the banks are backing up their dollars, getting rid of their dollars and replacing them with gold. Reserve currencies rise to prominence because people have confidence in the issuer, like the Roman Empire, Republic of Venice, Spanish Empire, but eventually that confidence wanes, especially as the empire debases its currency and runs up massive debts. And that's the situation in the United States right now. National debt is $34.4 trillion, and the Congressional Budget Office expects it to rise by at least $20 trillion over the next decade. Wow. That's quite a rise. It's like 70% over the next decade. It's a lot of money. It took us how many years? 200 and some years to get to $34.4 trillion. And we're going to add another 70% to that, another $20 trillion over the next decade. Yeah, we've got to pay for, I just was reading another article. I saw that on X, where Joe Biden has been flying 230,000 illegal immigrants into the country to relieve the surge at the border, so it would look better at the border. But he's flying them into the country, into different cities in the nation. 230,000. Okay, let's say in the last 6 months or year, to relieve the things, to make it look better at the border. 230,000 people he's put on airlines and flown them to different cities. Hey, the airline companies are doing bang-up business. Yeah, because they're flying more illegal aliens all over the country than they are flying Americans, likely anywhere. Right now, they're doing boom, bang-up business, making lots of dollars. But how much? Let's say, how much per ticket? How much do you think the government is paying per plane ticket? Just round it out. If you buy a plane ticket across the country or half of the country or from South America directly into the United States, any city, how much is it going to cost you? $500-$600? Well, you know that the government's going to pay twice that, because that's what the government does. They pay twice as much, the highest price for everything. Oh, and these contracts have to, and the reason they pay twice as much for everything is because these contracts go through hands that are getting rich, because they don't pay anything directly to the airline company. They don't run their own airline company and try to save as much money as they can, but they see how many of their friends and relatives that they can get to open up a booking business, travel service for the United States government, and pay them enormous amounts of what do you call it? Whatever they call it when you make money booking, travel service, commissions, that's what it is. Making horrific, and like I said, they'll pay twice as much because it's the government. And that's how all of these people work. And so no wonder, I mean, if the budget, if they keep doing what they're doing right now, it should go up another 20 trillion over the next decade, which is going to what? Double inflation again? Yeah. Easily, if not worse. Because, as this goes on, the higher the inflation gets, the faster it gets higher. It kind of starts to cascade at some point. The dollar became the global reserve currency back in 1944 when there were no other nations to rival the U.S. Plus, America was rich, and the dollar was backed by gold at the time. It was the only currency backed by gold. It was only backed by gold because Americans couldn't trade in their silver and gold certificates and get the gold, because by that time the Federal Reserve took care of that. The U.S. was the only country that hadn't been completely obliterated by war. It boasted the largest, freest, most productive economy. It possessed the best technology and manufacturing capacity. It had the largest pool of savings. And it also had one of the world's largest and most rapidly growing populations. Yet even with such an impressive socioeconomic resume, the rest of the world wasn't willing to blindly trust the U.S. government with the world's reserve currency, not without first putting some critical checks and balances in place. First, while other nations agreed to fix their currencies to the U.S. dollar, the U.S. agreed to fix the dollar to gold at a rate of $35 per troy ounce. And second, the U.S. government had to guarantee that the dollar would be freely convertible to gold. That way, if any nation ever lost confidence in the Treasury Department, Federal Reserve, they could easily redeem their dollars for gold. And when they started cashing in, they closed the gold window. Yes, that's what Richard Nixon did. Closed the gold window, and that was it. It was closed. And went fiat. Yeah. Like all the other nations of the world. This is a pretty critical point to understand. Immediately following World War II, the U.S. was at the peak of its power. Every other developed nation on Earth had been devastated by the war. Farms and factories had been destroyed. Chaos and hunger were rampant. Entire governments had been toppled. Yet even with such tremendous power imbalance, i.e. the U.S. was in pristine condition compared to Europe, Allied nations still weren't willing to go all in on the U.S. dollar, and they demanded the gold convertibility as a guarantee. That was 80 years ago, and it's safe to say that the U.S. is nowhere near the peak of its geopolitical power anymore. Adversary nations are everywhere, and the U.S. government's finances are an embarrassing catastrophe. When I see the central banks buying up gold at record prices, this suggests to me that they are preparing for a new global financial system, one that's based on gold instead of the U.S. dollar. Yes, we could only hope so, huh? But either way, it's going to be very difficult during the transition period. I would suggest having some gold or silver or some kind of assets that are substance and keep their value. Yes, for what we're going through in the next 30 years. But they want it by 2030. So you need to get as well prepared as you can for what's coming. After all, this is the most logical scenario. It would be naive and deliberately ignorant of history to believe that the dollar will go on indefinitely as the world's dominant reserve currency, given the pitiful trend of U.S. government finances. But see, everybody write these articles like they think that America, the United States of America, the people, that somehow that's our money, when it's not. It belongs to the Federal Reserve cabal of bankers that works for the Antichrist. Most Americans don't even know that Federal Reserve notes are not federal. And they have no reserve for us. They probably looted every bar of gold out of America that they could. Was there a place where they keep the gold? Fort Knox? Yeah. Anybody seen the gold in Fort Knox lately? Have we done an audit recently? I remember they used to audit the gold, you know. There was some kind of law where they had to audit the gold periodically to let the American people know how their money was doing, because that was the only thing backing their money. To give people confidence in it was the gold at Fort Knox. Yes, I think it's probably all been looted by now. I have a feeling. Yes, you don't hear anything about it. It's also hard to believe that any new financial system would be centered on a Chinese currency. No one trusts the CCP, nor should they. Gold is the most viable option to replace the dollar as a global reserve currency because it doesn't require any convincing. Governments and central banks all over the world already own gold, just as they have for thousands of years. Just as they have for thousands of years. Yes, indeed. And it's a lot easier for everyone to have confidence in an asset class that no single nation controls. Yes, we should keep it that way too. Given the trend of their very large-scale gold purchases, it appears that foreign governments and central banks may be preparing for this potential new financial system. I've argued before the gold-based financial system could send prices beyond 10,000 or more. When it does happen, it's going to do that. Gold is going to go when it becomes the basis for future financial systems. The Antichrist would like to own it all, control it all, and make sure everyone has the same fiat monetary system that he controls. And it's likely that 2/3 of the world seems to be idiots. Well, 1/3 is certified idiots. The others take a while to shake and wake up. And then there's a third of the people that see what's going on and ain't buying none of it. And yeah, they're awake. So yes, even though the gold is near record high, it's important to remember that individual investors are selling at a time when central banks are gobbling it up even more quickly, meaning the people that are selling it are stupid. Yes, I wouldn't sell any if I had any. And it's possible they're buying for a very deliberate reason. Yes. The handwriting is on the wall. Mm-hmm. Don't have to be a prophet or a seer to get a feeling for what's coming. All right. Let's see. Anybody else out there? Mick Rent says 2000. Oh, that's an answer to something. See, the main difference between how much paper compared to reality, false balance, absolutely. Yeah, the fiat usury money system is a false balance. God said the gold and silver are mine. And a false balance is an abomination. Goes even further than that. So we're almost at, well, what, 2100? So it's going up. The weaker the dollar gets. Unless they keep, I think one of the main things holding it back is paper gold and paper silver. Once the paper gold and paper silver markets crash, when everybody tries to cash in their paper gold and paper silver and tries to get real gold and silver out, that'll crash quick. Yeah. Once that happens, then you'll see the prices soar like never before. Okay, let's see. Oh, we're almost at the end of the hour here. Okay, tomorrow morning I'm going to have Johnny Cerrucci on. Many of you know Johnny. He's going to be on my broadcast, Prophecy Reality, in the morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And I'll rerun it likely tomorrow night in this slot. So if you're not able to catch it in the morning, it'll be on First Amendment Radio here tomorrow night. And there's my tone. Okay, make sure you get over to my website if you have not yet, crosstheborder.org. That's CROSS, crosstheborder.org. And press the follow button while you're there. Share all of the whatever posts you like. A lot of good articles over there to read and share. So I appreciate if you do that. And let's see. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on satellite, internet, or our several by the educational law programs. We ask you to give. We ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Arthur, and I'd like to introduce you to my latest book, Reformed Prophecy Interpretation, an apology for Reformed premillennial historicism in the 21st century. As with primitive biblical Christianity, historicism is the method of prophecy interpretation restored with the advent of the Protestant Reformation, and had become so widely held that for a long time it was called the Protestant view. My book is not so much about the errors of dispensationalism or amillennialism. Rather, it is about the historicist alternative to understanding many of the same passages from the vantage point of prophecy fulfilled in history. For those that desire more than mere hypotheses, bolstered with conjectured speculation, those who require explicit biblical exegesis and verified historical fulfillment, and are not willing to accept speculation as anything other than what it is. Speculation, not truth. This book is for you. Over the last century, this method of interpretation has become almost completely forgotten, even by Protestants, in the face of a method that is based almost entirely on future speculation, rather than fulfilled prophecy in history. In my book, I examine the reasons for this and investigate some of the prophecy which has been fulfilled in the interim, as well as present an apology for Reformed premillennial historicism to the 21st century. If you're interested in a copy of my book, you can go to my website, crosstheborder.org, and get more information there. Or you may also find it at Amazon. All right, I am back. Let's see. Yeah, looks like Everything seems to be fine, although my connection looks slow down again for some reason. But I'm going to continue on. I've heard the voice is good, but the picture is choppy. So anyway, there's nothing to see, but as long as you can hear me, I guess that's good. Maybe it'll pick back up. I wish I had a way to boost it. Dropped frames. Ooh, that's pretty bad. Okay, let's see. Mick says if Fort Knox really is empty, then it raises a question as to why this is so. A possible answer, it might surprise a few people. The decline of the iconic building likely began in 71 with paper money. Well, I think we were in early 60s coins. They went from, I think it was 90% to 60%, and then they went to none, 0%, eventually on the coins. See, all it means is a dollar is worthless in more ways than one, and an ounce of gold is still an ounce of gold. Truer words were never spoken than that. Yikes, I think I'm going to try something else here. Since this is, excuse me while I play producer for a minute here. Indeed. Testing, 1, 2. Yeah, I'm trying to get my audio stream up, but it looks like testing. I don't know if it's working or not. Here we are having streaming problems again. Yep, I guess I don't know why that doesn't work. Input, open mixer, yes, and it should be, I don't know why. Sound, it says, hopefully, there we go. All right. Okay. I don't know why it does that, but I should complain to them. Okay, well, I'm back on. My stream is up where it's supposed to be. Sorry about the technical difficulties there, everyone. Let's see. Luke says, thanks to President Nixon, after the groundwork was laid by President Wilson and President Roosevelt. Yes, exactly. Yes, Wilson was the traitor who sold our money, who gave our monetary system to the Antichrist. President Woodrow Wilson. He's the traitor. And the Congress. And that was in power at that time. Okay. All right. Everything's back working again. Thank you. Thank you for the 5x5 there. Got everything back up and running, full speed, full power. Okay. Guess I figured out I have to disconnect and then reconnect for some reason. I have no idea why. But I'm going to get my service out here and make them check my lines and stuff. Haven't bothered them in a few years, but maybe it's time again. Okay, where were we? Oh, yeah, I was talking about gold. All right, well, let's see what else we got going here. Okay, given the trend of large-scale gold purchase, it appears that foreign governments and central banks may be preparing for this potential new financial system. I've argued before that gold-based financial system could send prices beyond 10,000 or more, yes. So yes, even though gold is near record high, it is important to remember that individual investors are selling at a time when central banks are gobbling it up even more quickly. And so make sure you're not one that's selling. Hang on to what you got. There you go. And Okay, I don't know what the no exceptions are, but it means that the dollar is worthless. Maybe. Okay, that was a good one. What is this? Oh, this is more from Not the Bee. Let's see if they got anything interesting here. Judges on American Idol were blown away by this 17-year-old's voice, but wait till you hear the lyrics to her original song, American Idol is Back. You know, yes, American Idol. They idolize people who sing well. Keith Olbermann never disappoints. The replies to this one are golden. The Supreme Court has betrayed democracy. Its members, including Jackson, Kagan, and Sotomayor, have proved themselves inept at reading comprehension, and collectively, the court has shown itself to be corrupt and illegitimate. It must be dissolved. Wow. Because they wouldn't let, they said no to taking Trump off the ballot because he's never been convicted of the crime that they're saying he committed, that for which he shouldn't be on the ballot. Yeah. Now the Supreme Court got it right, especially 9 justices, the ones that probably would have liked to have voted the other way, would have been too embarrassed to vote the other way. But whoever this Keith Olbermann guy is, he is unhinged, man. Wow. Come and see the toxic phrases CNBC apparently wants you to lose friendships over. 1, you're too sensitive. 2, I was just joking. Can't you take a joke? And 4, I miss the old you. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, what happened to the old you? As we can say that to men pretending to be women, or vice versa. Moving on. Dune 2 had a banger of a weekend, and I'm here to review the film with the spiciest memes. Okay, well, I guess you have to have seen the movie to care about that. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Mick says, the Supreme Court won me over when they stopped the mandatory jabs last November. And no exceptions as reference to the U.S. president's, yeah. I can't read that. Oh, since which President Wilson. In the chat room, they have a heart over the word simply. So all I can see is sim or sense. Sin. Well, I see a sin, not sense. How inconvenient. Okay. Progress. White trans runner takes first place from black. Is that supposed to be satire? White trans runner takes first place from black. From black what? Trans runner? This is both stunning and brave. A white man has stolen first place from a black woman at the from a black woman. A white man stole a place. 3 Atlantic Region Track and Field Championships in New York, and I'm assuming the left is celebrating this, unless of course they're bigots. Wow. Newsom announced that this is the Jesuit governor of the state of California, announces new hate hotline so informants can report their neighbors to the state. Look at any totalitarian state and you'll find that the leaders initiated some kind of system where ordinary people acted as state informants. So what's that number? Yes. 1-800-TELL-ON-YOUR-NEIGHBOR, huh? Let's see. No exceptions. Reference to U.S. presidents since Woodrow Wilson. He kissed the ring in 1919, 6 years after 1913, and shortly after the end of the war to end all wars. Yes. Good to see you there, No Bucks in the chat room. Thanks for showing up. That's Bob, right? Yeah, Bob from PA. Still trying to incite civil conflicts, no doubt, of course. Yes, indeed. Say, you're supposed to Skype in. You can add your voice to mine. All right. So anyway, yes, the governor of California is a Jesuit. You can look it up on his wiki page. That's right. He works directly for the Antichrist. No doubt. No doubt. He's one of the few notorious Jesuits. There are many more hiding than they are notoriously in places of power, in government, in schools, in Protestant churches where they don't belong, places where they shouldn't be because they're opposed to the positions that they're in. And some of them play the game pretty well. You know, that's why I'm suspicious of Ron DeSantis, because he has a Catholic secret society akin to what's the one that Bush belonged to? Skull and Bones, in his past. So, and he's never recanted or denounced it. So that's why I'm suspicious of Ron DeSantis. Yes, he is a devout Catholic. There you go. And if he's a rebellious one, well, you know what the Vatican did to our last rebellious Catholic president, don't you? So you can guess. Okay. Okay, well, that's all we got from them. Where are we now? Is that this one? Yeah, we'll close that tab there. And unless you guys got comments, questions, boy, everybody's in there. They love the YouTube room. Do you guys go there? Because is everyone in the YouTube room, chat room? Is every one of them, are you all of you guys subscribed to my blog? Because I know I was thinking about it, and I put the YouTube in my blog chat room, in my blog post. So maybe I just need to put Rumble in there. So, and maybe I'll try that. Not tomorrow night, but the night after. So, like I said, I'm going to rerun my Prophecy Reality broadcast tomorrow night and spend some time with the family here, such as they are. Let's see. Yes. DeSantis went to Israel to sign a Florida bill. Oh yeah, I remember that. No, that was not a Florida bill. That was a Jewish bill. It was, it was against free speech. Anyone who speaks against the nation of Israel. Yeah. That was his against free speech bill. And he went to Israel to sign it. Yes, that's right. So, what the Antichrist wants, the Antichrist gets. That's another one of his operations. The shadow government works for the Antichrist. It's also Zionism is another operation of theirs. Anything that helps them out. And if it helps take down America, he's all for it. Is a Delta Kappa Epsilon, not Skull and Bones. Yeah, I know. He was, that's what I was saying. I said akin to Skull and Bones. Both Bushes belong to both fraternities. There you go. Yeah. So it was a ceremonial signing in Jerusalem. Yeah, it sure was. Yep, I remember it. All right, let's see. We got some more news here. Unless you guys got a topic you want me to talk about. But the Lex was signed before he left. Oh, the law was signed, yeah. Sorry, I probably misspoke, but yeah, they had a celebration. They had a faux signing, I guess, probably over there. The law was signed, but he went over there to celebrate it with them because they were very happy about it. Yes, it was like, you know, uh, who cares what Floridians think? Damn free speech for Florida. I'm gonna make the Israel government and the Jews happy by signing this bill so that Floridians can't freely speak against the Israeli government. And I have nothing against the Jewish people, you know. I have nothing against them at all. And I don't have any special animosity towards Israel either, as a people and as a government. I could care less about them. I don't want to fund them. I don't want to fund their wars. I don't think that we should fund what's going on there right now, and just so they don't have to spend their surplus while we're borrowing money to fund them. It's idiocy. It makes no sense at all. And I don't like them having citizens in our government. And so there's some things I don't like. I think that we have a lot of treasonous traitors. Of course, you know, Israel may not be an enemy of America, but that doesn't mean that they should have any control in our government whatsoever. They have their own government. Let them control that. Let us control ours. Now, if they want to come over here and they want to bilk charity out of idiots that want to believe in their Zionist dream or have terrible eschatology, of course, given to them by the Antichrist, because that's what Zionism, what is it called? Dispensational futurism, and the Zionism that it's married to. That's where it all came from. Came out of the Counter-Reformation effort to break the Protestants and evangelicals from their recognition of the papacy as the seat of the Antichrist and the Roman Catholic oxymoron church as the great apostasy of St. Paul. That's what it's all about. And they've done a very good job. I have to commend them. What a wonderful job they've done at their Counter-Reformation effort. It has worked very well. What a way to put it, huh? Okay, well, we have redacted here. Happy Tuesday. It's still Tuesday. Trader Joe's has recalled chicken dumplings because they may contain plastic bits. This is one of the many reasons that Trader Joe's is called Recall Joe's by those in the business. Well, I guess at least they're recalling stuff. Their plastic machines break down and put bits into the... Of course, I did hear about in the past where in China they were selling plastic rice. I guess because it was cheaper than real rice and someone could make some bucks. So they made plastic rice. Can you imagine that? Buying a 50-pound sack of plastic rice? Ooh, yummy. God, why won't this rice cook? Okay. Yeah, I'm sure you all heard about that. I still think it's funny in a way, but it's just shows you how crooked people can be. Some people will do anything just for the buck. Let's see, in case you missed it, 5 people died in a small plane crash in Nashville. Okay. Senator Marco Rubio admitted that Ukraine can't win territory back from Russia, but supports sending more aid anyway. Oh, bad. Marco Rubio. What's the point? Well, we have more money to send? Oh, what the heck. Another trillion. Just throw another trillion down the hole in the next 3 years or whatever, however long it takes to end the West. Okay. Ukraine is pushing the EU to allow them to extradite people they expect to be criminals. What? I don't get it. And I'm not curious enough to look at the article. JetBlue will not merge with Spirit Airlines after judge ruled against the merger. Yeah, I don't know what does a judge have to do with it anyway? Would it be a good thing if these two small airlines merge? Yeah. I don't like monopolies. I think they are anti-free enterprise. They are. And we're supposed, a lot of people mistakenly believe that we're supposed to have a capitalist system. No, we're supposed to have a free enterprise system. And capitalism, to a point, that's what free enterprise is. It's to a point where capitalism capitalizes and monopolizes the industries, taking the business away from the local and centralizing it. That's bad for America. Okay, moving on here. Former Twitter executives filed a lawsuit against Elon Musk and X, demanding over $128 million in alleged unpaid severance payments. Well, good luck with that. See, a new study shows that drinking 7 or more cans of diet soda per week could raise the risk of heart issues. Who would be surprised by this? Yes, I can't even think. I think I've had a couple sodas in the last 10 years. I don't think that's going to hurt me. Let's see. 2 people have died in the massive Texas wildfires that have claimed over 500 acres, it says. And I heard a tone. China has set a 5% growth target. What does that mean? We don't know. But perhaps we'll continue with this when we get back from these messages. You're listening to Far Out with me, Nick, at night. I'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on satellite, internet, or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
We are back. That's right. Yes. Mick Rent in the chat room. Oh, somebody said something. Oh, Luke said something about dual citizenship. That's the point I was making about those holding dual citizenships should not be allowed to serve in the federal government at all. That's my feeling on the matter, because they have dual loyalties. Used to be also, at the beginning of this nation, if you were a Catholic, you couldn't serve in the American government and in many states because you had dual loyalties. Yes, indeed. Oh, let's see. The sound isn't on. Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, that says yesterday. Oh, wait a minute. That's Bob from PA. Let me check it out here. Let's see. Haley has something up her sleeve against Trump in the upcoming elections. That's why she is handling her position the way she is. Liberal sneakiness. Yeah, I don't know what's with Nikki Haley. Do they really think, well, it's like Ron DeSantis suspended his run for the presidency, which means he might unsuspend it. They're thinking maybe Joe Biden will die or Donald Trump will be assassinated or who knows what, or end up in jail or whatever. So Ron DeSantis at least suspended his run for the presidency, his campaign, and but I guess Nikki Haley doesn't care. She's she's just going to run no matter what. So, yeah, I hope she doesn't get in. It'd be like having Mitt Romney in. And everybody loved Mitt Romney, didn't they? Yeah. Almost had him for president once. I think he ran against Obama, didn't he? Mitt Romney ran against Obama. No wonder Obama won. Let's see. Okay, back to it. The gold, yes. My last article, the gold got up to 1,080. I mean, 2080, $2,080. But here I have an updated market chart here. Gold has actually pierced $2,100. Now it's $2,125 and 11 cents. So that's up. Silver is up too, but not as much. Only 0.1%. But Bitcoin is up again, more, up 2.41% to $66,711. That's a lot of bit. But I'll tell you, you know what it'll take Bitcoin to crash? Let us have a disaster where the internet goes down most everywhere in the United States, and Bitcoin will become suddenly worth nothing at all. Because what good is something that you can't even get to on your computer, your phone, or whatever? So one day Bitcoin's going there, believe you me. There's no way that cannot happen. So anyway, there you have it. And there's all that other Dow, Standard & Poor's, and NASDAQ stuff that really means nothing to me at all. So, yes. Okay, lead. Illegals flying the friendly skies. The Biden administration has been flying illegal aliens around the U.S. according to new reports. I would think so. According to the Daily Mail, Customs and Border Protection refused to disclose information about a program last year secretly charting flights for thousands of undocumented immigrants from foreign airports directly into the U.S. cities. There it is. Not just from, to ease the surge at the southern border, to make it look better for people. That's why Joe Biden's going out there and mumbling that he's fixing it. Yeah, he's fixing it all right. He's spending a heck of a lot more money to make it worse, but maybe look better, because he's flying directly from foreign airports directly to U.S. cities. It means that while record numbers of migrants were flowing over the southern border last year, the Biden White House is also directly transporting them into the country. Why? According to the lawsuit, the flights were part of the CBP One app, which allows migrants to seek asylum with the app from their home country. What was previously unknown was that the administration was providing direct flights to app users from over... Oh, so you don't even have to come to the border now. You just go on this app and they'll send you a flight ticket. And they'll fly you into the city of your choice. Now I feel like I'm getting angry. If I wasn't before. This is like, and where's all this money coming from? When did Congress appropriate the money for this program? That's what I would like to know. Meanwhile, in Texas, a new bill would allow law enforcement to arrest and expel migrants, but the Supreme Court has blocked it until at least next week, when the court will take up the case. It's just like, man, they are determined to overrun this country with immigrants before Joe Biden gets out of office at the end of the year. And then we got to spend the money to send all these people back where they came from. If we could find half of them and send them back, we would be lucky, I guess. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure they know where every one of them are at. Don't they give them cell phones and debit cards? And don't they collect welfare from the government? Aren't we paying all their bills? It should be easy to round them up. Just start rounding them up. We know where they're at. Just go silently and collect them. Put them on planes or take them to the border and push them across. Sorry. If Trump says he's going to do that, or Kennedy says he's going to do that, I might even go out and vote for him. Let me hear it come out of their mouth. The Supreme Court sides with Trump. So we've talked about that. You cannot remove the president from the presidential ballot. So it sets a precedent for other states. It was a 7-0 decision, or it was a 9-0 decision. It was a unanimous decision. That's unusual, I think. So anyway, all right. Let's see. Whoops! No science behind transgender medical treatments. The world is full of idiots. I can't believe people actually are falling for this stuff. New release documents from the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, WPATH, shows that transgender medicine is not evidence-based at all. We knew that, but now we know that they know it too. They always knew it. These files were published by journalist Michael Schellenberger in a report titled The WPATH Files, Pseudoscientific Surgical and Hormonal Experiments on Children, Adolescents, and Vulnerable Adults. It is a collection of leaked documents from WPATH whistleblowers. The files were published by Environmental Progress. They reveal that the organization does not meet the standards of evidence-based medicine, and members frequently discuss improvising treatments as they go along. Members are fully aware that children and adolescents cannot comprehend the lifelong consequences of gender-affirming care. Yes, gender-affirming care. It's gender-affirming negligence. What a monstrosity. And in some cases, due to poor health literacy, neither can their parents. Further, the files provide clear evidence that doctors and therapists are aware they are offering minors life-changing treatments they cannot fully understand. WPATH members know that puberty blockers, hormones, and surgeries will cause infertility and other complications, including cancer and pelvic floor dysfunction. Yet they consider life-altering medicinal interventions for young patients, including vaginoplasty for a 14-year-old and hormones for a developmentally delayed 13-year-old boy. That's the kind of stuff that makes me angry. I would, yeah. Yes. I think those people should be put to death. Seriously. Because what they're doing is worse than murder. A declaration of war. The Idaho Senate passed the Defend the National Guard Act. If it passes the State House of Representatives, it would mean that the National Guard of Idaho will not be sent to war unless Congress declares war as required by the Constitution. Well, they really don't need an act. If it's already in the Constitution, if it's already required by the Constitution and the government, then they just, unless Congress declares war, they should not let their soldiers go. That's all. Disobey unlawful orders from the federal government. There's nothing wrong with that. So, but if they want to codify it, but what if they don't pass it? They still don't have to send them. Seriously. All they have to do is agree with, well, we're going to follow the law, and if the federal government doesn't follow the law, well, we're not going to comply. Period. This law has already been passed in Arizona and New Hampshire. The bill is a creation of veterans who have suffered deaths from endless wars without a congressional declaration. Well, it's a good idea. Let's do it. It won't hurt, if nothing, to remind them that they have a duty to disobey unlawful orders. Guard and Reserve units made up about 45% of the total force sent to Iraq and Afghanistan and received about 18.4% of the casualties on undeclared wars. I agree. We recently interviewed one of the Bills backers, veteran on Redacted. So you can go to Redacted if you want to see that interview. But that's the news. Okay. News by the numbers. A lot of news tonight. So you've got any comment in here? Chat room? No, everybody seems to be happy. Okay, news by the numbers. 32. That's how many damaging health outcomes are linked to ultra-processed foods, according to a new study. So here's your ultra-processed foods. Don't eat these, or if you do eat them, maybe like very little of them. Like not every day, definitely. Treat yourself once a week or something. But, if you must. I don't never drink Coca-Cola. I never buy Doritos, Cheetos, Ruffles, Twinkies, or Oreos. Now, I've had Chips Ahoy cookies. Yes, I like chocolate chip cookies. So, 3 or 4 times a year, I'll splurge, get some chocolate chip cookies, and Pringles once in a while. Yeah, there you go. My sinful lifestyle. No, not really. Like I said, rarely. Like 3 or 4 times a year, maybe I'll buy something like that. Okay, 104. That was the age of Eleanor Collins, Canada's first lady of jazz, when she passed away Sunday. I got to go 102. That's how old I have to be alive when Jesus comes in 2055, if I have the calendar right, and that is the beginning of the 7th millennium. Hey, let's throw my own numbers in there. 58%. That's how many scientists say that sex is binary, according to the survey. So now you know that 42% of scientists out there are nuts. Yes, and they have no right to be called scientists if they don't know that sex is binary. Okay, what's trending here? Okay, Jason Kels is trending because he announced that he is retiring from football after 13 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles. In this tearful speech, oh, how heartwarming. I wonder how Bob in PA is taking it. He probably doesn't watch football either. All right. Russell Wilson is trending because the Denver Broncos announced that they will not bring him back as quarterback next season. Yes, indeed. Mick says, Millennium. I hope you're off 20 years. Nothing personal. 2020. Well, yeah, I hope I'm off by 20 years too, to tell you the truth, Mick. I hope I'm off by 20 years. And that's 20 years in my favor. And I don't have to be 102. I would just be 82, okay? Because I'm pretty sure I can make it to 82. Because that's that's just a little more than a decade away. But 102, I'll have to beat some odds there. But there are people that live that long, and so far I'm doing pretty good. And I thank God for that, and I pray that I am able to live until he comes, unless he has better plans for me, Yeah, he could, because I don't know, if I could lay down my life for Christ, for the gospel, I would gladly do it. Yeah, so because it's kind of in the book that people are going to lay down their lives between now and then, so I could be one of them. All right, let's see. Moving on here. Fire ants are trending because the Australian government says that it will spend 2 billion Australian dollars per year to eradicate invasive fire ants. And we have fire ants here where I live. So I'm always chasing them away. Mm-hmm. And they just moved to another place. All right. Okay, well, that's our redacted news, and we're almost at the end of the hour. So, I guess, yeah. All right, so tomorrow we'll have, once again, I will have Johnny Cerrucci on, and Johnny has written, like Secret History, Erase Clues That Prove Who Rules the World from Behind the Curtains. And we're also going to be finishing up my third in a series on, what was that guy's name? Jeremiah something. Oh, here I have his name here. I forget who I'm talking about. This guy here, David Jeremiah, that's the guy. So I did 2 parts on David Jeremiah on this, the rapture of the church thing, commenting and correcting and giving the proper historicist interpretation for the scripture verses that he's taking out of context and twisting it to fit the Antichrist Counter-Reformation rapture thesis. We'll call it a thesis. We'll be kind. We'll call it a thesis at the moment. So we'll finish up talking about that, and we'll talk about some other things, like we're going to dive into probably the late great Planet Earth author Grant. No. Anyway, Hal Lindsey, that's the guy. Yeah. And others that have been under the influence of a co-author. Yeah. And the same, even David Jeremiah had the same co-author on one of his books as did Hal Lindsey on the late great Planet Earth. And the co-author was C.C. Carlson, UCC lesbian. Yeah, that's right. She's dead now. So hopefully she repented before she passed on, but probably unlikely. But I won't know until the day. Maybe I'll never know and never care. So nothing I can do once you're dead. Can't tell dead people about the gospel because Jesus died for the living. That's the truth. So anyway, that's what we're going to do tomorrow morning. See, speaking of secret history, I heard a YouTuber saying it's the 100th anniversary of the Turks' Caliphate of Palestine influencing the conflict. Influencing the conflict of what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have to elaborate on that before I know what you're talking about. But secret history, huh? Turks Caliphate of Palestine. Nope, don't know what that means. I guess it's a secret history. No wonder I don't know about it. 1924. Well, that is 100 years ago, isn't it? So anyway, if you don't catch it live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., then I will replay it in this time slot tomorrow night. And I'll see you all back here Thursday night. That's right. It's a lot of work, but I don't mind doing it. Okay. Make sure you get over to my website, crosstheborder.org or nicholasarthur.wordpress.com, and press the follow button there. Share the posts, the articles there. Send me money if you got an extra $1 million sitting around not doing anything. Or if you're giving money to Rapture Ministries, stop doing that and send it to me instead. Yeah, I'm sure none of you are giving to Rapture Ministries, Of course, you never know. Someone might be listening that's supporting a rapture ministry right now. Well, you're supporting a satanic ministry, even if the people are duped into believing that it's the truth, like we all were at one time, or most of us were. So, yeah, don't want to do that. You're going to get up and Jesus stand before the judge and you go, but Lord, didn't I give money to Rapture Ready every month? I gave them $100, Lord. Yeah. Or how about Rev310.net? Oh, I bought 1,000 copies of the late great Planet Earth and gave them away. Yeah, people are going to stand before God someday and try to get away with stuff like that. And I like this guy here, Is he going to stand up there someday before God Almighty, this guy here, and proclaim what he did for many, many years, preaching the rapture of the church? Because that's his main thing, He took over the church of LaFay. What was the guy's name that wrote the Left Behind series? Yeah, that guy he's got the church because he's dead, the guy who wrote the books, but this guy took over his church and been preaching the same thing ever since. Yeah. So anyway, we'll finish talking about him tomorrow morning and other good stuff, I'm sure. Always fun to hang out with Johnny Cerrucci. All right, LaHaye, right. Well, may the Almighty bless you and keep you as you travel on the narrow way that leads to life. I'll see you next time. Secrets of the Rapture. Is there a 500-year-old conspiracy? A propaganda machine so pervasive and entrenched, yet so elusive that the entire world could be taken in by it, working in plain sight, but unseen by the world for what it truly is? If prophecy is God-given history in advance, why does the prophecy that has conquered the age also exclude nearly 2,000 years of history? What is it that they are afraid that the light of history will reveal? To understand our place in time and prophecy, we must look in history for an interpretation, that which stands the test of time, that which agrees with the Word of God, and history has proven to be true. When cunning fables and fearful speculations are removed from our sight, then we may clearly see what is truly expressed in Bible prophecy, both that which has been fulfilled and that which has yet to come. God's express word is the source